Hello everybody and welcome back to another qualifying session. I hope you're having a brilliant day today. Here we are in Britain and it's going to be a very interesting race, that is for sure. Before we get into the table or anything like that, of course we do have Peter joining us once again on commentary for this week.
Yeah, hi guys. Good to be back once again for another interesting week for today.
And everyone is slowly coming out. We're hoping it's not going to be laggy, but I'm not too sure. I'm seeing a bit of lag already, but who knows? Should we just run down the table really quickly and what it's looking like?
Yeah, sure. So, do you want to do it or do you want me to do it?
You go ahead. You go ahead.
So, out in the middle of last time, we had a very interesting start to the race. George putting it on pole, I believe. Yeah, he put it on pole and started on pole for the race along with I can't remember who, but George started on pole, had a fantastic start and then got taken out, which meant Preston took the lead of the race and took P1 to take his first victory of the season after being denied the victory in Imola. George DNF'd the last race, but obviously gained a point because of the pole. Charlie did not score any points at all during the weekend because of the crash between him and his championship rival George, which meant he would not get score any points. And then we go on to follow. I believe I can't remember. Oh, it was Jamie who got a fantastic podium, P3. What a race for him! After not having so much a good race in Miami, gets a second podium in the season, and then Bailey once again did not have the best race of the season, and yeah.
Yes, it was truly a quite a good race. I think last time out. Of course, Bailey unfortunately did not have a great race at all last, but hopefully he can come back and score today. We do have Bradley back with us this week, so that's nice. Unfortunately, we don't have Carl once again, but hopefully Carl will be returning very soon. Of course, the season 2 World Drivers Champion does need to be in it eventually. But who knows? Of course, unfortunately, George is not here either for this race either. So very unfortunate for George, but that is going to shake up Championship quite a bit. I do believe Charlie has a very good chance here today without George here to extend his league. I think Harry and Jamie have a very good chance as well to come into it. Carl as well with the AI, of course, is going to be interesting. George with the AI as well, also going to be interesting, but we'll see what happens here in the qualifying session here today of Silverstone. And what are we expecting from this race, Peter?
So, well, obviously, George and not being hit, neither is Preston. So Charlie won't have that challenge of the two people who can actually challenge Charlie for the win. But what we have seen throughout the season, well, at the start of the season is that we've seen Charlie and Harry and even Jamie, I think, at times scrap. So it's not like not Bradley, Charlie won't have any pace at all. I'm sure that Charlie will have some form of competition in making sure that he doesn't make any mistakes. So it's a potential win for him today, and a very high chance of him extending his championship even further. So, I mean, it can be a very interesting weekend, obviously, depending on how it plays out. I would like to see how things play out in the end for Charlie and the championship as well. Just heading into qualifying now, and now looking at the lap times, and Harry and Charlie looking very similar in pace. Basically an identical lap time, may I say. What do you make of that, Dan?
I think it's very interesting. I mean, Harry on top right now. I mean, beating Charlie just by, I believe, what could be counted as 500ths of a second, possibly. So very close between Harry and Charlie. And then you got to bring Jamie into it, who is currently 2 tenths off the pace off of Charlie, and then Bradley is, I believe, only 5 tenths off the pace off of Jamie, so quite close to be honest. 5 place grid penalty for Carlos Sainz due to due to collision with Harry. So teammates coming together, colliding together. Very unlucky for Ferrari, I must say there. But yeah, I definitely think it's very interesting. Bailey sets 132.663. Could he improve on that? Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I haven't actually got to see Bailey's lap, but if I watch him and see what he's doing, he's obviously headed into the pits now. But the other three, the other three drivers that are currently, they're all going into the pits, I believe. So I think that all the real drivers, should I say, not the AI drivers, are heading into the pits now to probably refuel and get the new tyres on. But one thing that we are here looking at is that the top four, I'm pretty sure. Well, the top three is covered by a span of two tenths, and seeing Jamie up in there is actually quite interesting. To be fair, only 2 tenths off of Harry, and the last time we saw a scrap for pole between 3 different drivers was in the opening of Bahrain, where obviously I think Carl stuck it on pole, I believe. I'm not entirely sure. I'm pretty sure he did stick it on pole that race. If not, it might have been Charlie.
Yeah, it's definitely very interesting to see this once again. Unfortunately, Carl is not here this time round, but as I say, hopefully he'll be back next weekend for what I believe is Belgium, where we'll be in Spa for that race. Of course, we all know what happened last season. Everyone DNF'd, and Callum's AR didn't even win that race. It was very shocking, to be fair. Me, Rick Pick, and Jamie definitely had a laugh on commentary at the end of that race because of that. So you should all go check out that video if you haven't already. But yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting race here today with the top 4 and Bailey down in P15. Unfortunately, hopefully Bailey can improve, as we say. Speaking of Bailey, he is currently live at twitch.tv/BayRin if you want to go check him out. Because, you know, why wouldn't you? You get to see the races live, and wouldn't you want to see that? I mean, it's really cool. I'm actually going to pull up his stream right now, just to help him out, really, you know. But none of our drivers are currently out, so actually, no, I say that, but we have Charlie currently out right now.
Yeah. So Charlie is now out on track now. So he wants to clearly take pole for. I think this could be the second pole or first pole of his of the season. I'm pretty sure it's the second pole. I'm not entirely sure. Don't hold my word. Don't hold my words for that. But either way, it's good because now we also got the other driver who's currently on provisional pole. Harry is out of the pits as well. So obviously saw that Charlie is out. So he thought that if you're putting in a lap time, so am I, mate. So it's clearly all to play for. And, you know, one person who out of us who has really been in form is Charlie. The man has taken 2 wins this season already. Can Charlie come through with a second race win? Well, no, with a third race win, sorry. It'll be second race win in a row, but third race win of the season. I mean, that would be quite good. I mean, has Charlie at all even won a race in the previous seasons?
No, not at all. As I said, he only starred in 2 other races, and that was in Season 1, the Bahrain Grand Prix and the Jeddah Grand Prix, and then he had to unfortunately leave the season due to reasons. But yeah, he did have both those races, so to come back in Season 3 and battle for the championship straight away is a massive, massive improvement, I will say.
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive step up, and, you know, I'm on board with, what's it called? I'm on board with Charlie right now, watching him to see what he can manage to pull off here, and I'm just wondering, can he pull off a provisional pole here? I mean, you know, Harry with 1 lap already is already in front of Charlie, so my thing is that I feel like Charlie has made a few mistakes, and as we're talking about the fighting for pole right now, Jamie is also out for an outlap, but wanting to go and do another lap to maybe compete for pole. I mean, that's it's all to play for this session and for the championship. I mean, with an amazing performance out time from last time from Jamie, taking a podium and putting off some fantastic moves, having a few collisions, but still managed to come back fighting. And I've just seen that he's a 10th up on Harry's time, so he's gone purple sector 2. And I'm just wondering, can this could looks like a potential provisional pole lap for the man who's leading the championship currently.
Yeah, it definitely could really look like a provisional pole lap if he can again hit those apexes where he needs to, get the best time he can. And he does with a 129.301. That's 3 seconds up on Harry. Harry will definitely be looking to get better, and he has with a purple sector 2 here. Both drivers really going at it, but when we bring in, Harry and Charlie and Jamie, what about Bradley? Can he improve on his time? Can he get ahead of Jamie?
Well, he's only currently I think he's like more probably I think he's only like a second off the he's only a second off the pace, depending if he's made a mistake. And Harry goes on provisional pole by almost, I think that is 0.4 of a second. That is amazing stuff from Harry. So going back to Bradley real quick, I know I cut myself off there a little bit, but going back to Bradley, he's now, I think, I mean, it's between the 1.1 and 2 second mark. I mean, whether Bradley is able to pull it off, I don't know. But as he rounds the final few corners, can he pull it off? He's improved his lap time by 0.2, but he's still in the 130s. So clearly, is not able to extract that lap time out of that McLaren of his just yet. So maybe is it a setup issue? Maybe it's a setup he's chose, and maybe that the other guys are running maybe a lot less, not as much downforce as compared to Bradley.
Yes. It is looking interesting for Bradley, to be honest. I mean, it almost makes you think, would he work better in a race? Because some drivers work better in a race than they do in qualifying, to get, obviously having the DRS, having that slipstream off of other drivers. Sorry, I couldn't think of a word. So it's definitely going to be interesting. But do you mind if we just take a trip down to P19 really quickly? Bailey, obviously, obviously P19, 0.3 off of Mick Schumacher. You have George Russell, who's still not out yet. I mean, Bailey's definitely going to be hoping that George Russell stays in the pits, but I'm looking at the Bailey stream now. It's sometimes he is gaining that time back, sometimes he's not. I think he really needs to work on it, but it does look like he may be getting a bit better. What's the different ways he'll be able to improve his time?
Well, definitely just playing the game a lot more in general. I think playing the game, just getting more and more used to the game, actually just helps you get more confident in the car and to actually understand how the car is going to react and how you can adapt to certain situations. There's always a key asset as a driver and playing the game as well, being able to adapt to any situation given time. But, I feel that with Bailey playing a lot more, I definitely see that he seems a lot more smoother and seems like he's not making as many mistakes, actually. So I think today he can have a lot better performance than he thinks he can. I think that something can really, I think something great can happen today for Bailey, hopefully. And he slows down, and I have no idea why. Maybe it's a slow fuel mode. I think it is.
Low fuel mode. I definitely think it is. He's gonna have to go around the track again to make it into pits. Very unluckily, it happened as soon as he passed the pits. So that is very unfortunate for Bailey right there. But who knows what's going to happen? I mean, George Russell again not coming out. It's going to be good for Bailey. He'll be starting one one position up from where he not potentially should be starting. That's a bit mean, but respectively maybe starting if all drivers were out on the track and setting times. If you get what I mean. Don't you know? You get what I mean. But Harry still on provisional pole. You have Charlie still in P2. Jamie is still in P3. Bradley still trying to work on catching up to Jamie, but still in that P4 position. Charlie currently on an outlap, but still got Bailey in front. He's gonna have to make it past the race side Bailey with a yellow flag in front of him. Will that affect his time? Do you think with a yellow flag?
Nah, I don't think it'll affect us. As long as Bailey's is paying attention to the map, and as long as he's paying attention to who's behind him, and obviously lets him pass, I don't think it will affect Charlie at all. And Charlie's only on an outlap, so
yeah, I was about to say I don't know why I said affect his time. He's on an outlap. I'm stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. As long as he sits back, I mean, if he clears the and Lance Stroll is given a 5-place grid penalty for illegal blocking.
That will also be good for Bailey, who will now jump up a place, I believe.
Yeah, to P18 now, because Lance Stroll is only in P15, so it means he'll drop dead last on the back of the grid. But obviously, going back to Charlie, I think we was just talking about, as long as Charlie just sits back a bit, obviously his teammate's there now, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Maybe the AI just wants to get past. I always find that when you're doing a qualifying lap and they're also on a lap, like when you go slow down, they slow down with you, and you have to stop completely so that you don't have the AI riding you right up on your gearbox. But as we go now, as Lance Stroll getting another 5-place grid penalty, we're now going to go through and watch Charlie's lap for potential.
Stroll's been disqualified completely.
Yeah, completely disqualified now. Bailey up to P18. I mean, George Russell is now finally on an outlap, which is funny enough to say. But the question is, do you reckon that Charlie has the pace to match Harry this race? Do you reckon we can get a new race winner?
Yes, I 100% think so. I do not doubt it, to be honest. But is there enough time for him to pick up that pace and get up, or will Harry successfully take that provisional pole? I mean, Harry is looking very dangerous here in Silverstone.
And Harry spins it.
Very unlucky for Harry. I mean, we were just talking about his pace, but if he spins out in the race, there will be no win for him today. So he's going to have to take that corner very carefully in the actual race itself. But we do have 1 minute left of the qualifying session, people. The drivers will be getting the last sets of laps in, and I'm very sorry to interrupt you a bit there. Peter, I should let you take over.
Yeah, I just seen Charlie, and he's now gone purple sector 2. 3 attempts up on this lap time. This is a potential provisional pole for Charlie, and will this be an end for Harry? Will
it
Charlie
is.
Goes on provisional pole.
It's 128.892. That is 1/10 of a second up.
Yeah, it's not even that. I mean, it's literally half of a tenth quicker than Harry. It's not even a tenth.
It's like a 500th of a second.
Yeah, and that's quite close.
And now Harry crosses the line, and no, he does not take it. Wow, this could be a change. Charlie could be taking the provisional pole here in Silverstone. Wow.
Don't exclude it, Harry, just yet. He still gets to have another run at provisional pole. So does Charlie. So, does Harry get the chance to improve on his lap time? Or will it be Charlie, the man leading the championship, get another provisional pole once again? And I don't think, and he's a tenth down on the provisional pole sitter right now. And this is where
Harry spun again! No! That means, without a doubt, people, starting on pole position here today for Silverstone is Charlie. Well done to Charlie for that provisional pole position. And Harry's retired from the session completely. But he'll be starting P2 anyway. Charlie will round it off now by going into the pits. Bailey does start P19 due to George Russell jumping up to P13 here. Very unlucky for Bailey, but I'm sure he can get back up. Don't doubt it, people. Bailey does have the pace in a race to get up. And I'm rhyming a lot with pace in race today, I tell you. I'm loving the commentary today, but yes, as Charlie does come back into pits, that is the end of qualifying, people. We'll be right with you with the qualifying leaderboard in a second. Stick around, people, and do not miss it. And here you are with the qualifying leaderboard. I'll quickly do it so we can move on to race. You've got Charlie in P1, Harry in P2, Jamie in P3, Bradley in P4, then taking it down a bit more, unfortunately, is Bailey in P19 due to Lance Stroll disqualifying from the session. Then you've got the highest Alfa Romeo is in P7, and the highest Mercedes, I believe, is in P8. So good positions for George and Carl perhaps, but yeah, here we go with the race, people. Stick around for it, do not miss it. And here we are with the formation lap for all of our home Grand Prix here today in Silverstone. And what a great race we're hopefully in for today. Of course, you have Charlie starting on pole position. You have Harry in P2, Jamie in P3, Bradley in P4, Bailey starting down in P19, very unfortunately. But can we just talk about something really quickly? We did mention it on the live stream we just done on Twitch, but we thought we'd save it on here for this race. What you have is currently Charlie ahead of George in the championship by, I believe, 8 points. Unfortunately, George is not here today. Charlie has a very good chance to get ahead of George and boost up his points today. What does Charlie... How is Charlie so lucky here today is what I'm trying to say, if you get what I mean.
I mean, I don't think it's all down to luck. I mean, it's all down to driver ability, and that's what it is about this game. If you have a higher skill level to someone else, you're going to completely dominate. And the fact that Charlie, who has been, I wouldn't say a season regular, but has appeared in other seasons, a man who went to never win in a race, to completely coming back for a full season, and to win the first race, DNF, and then still come back to win not to win the championship, that's not to be decided just yet, but I mean to come back and fight and be in the championship lead. He's done fantastically great this season. I mean, this is 2 poles, 2 race wins. I mean, this man, he's completely on fire. I mean, I wouldn't say a newcomer because he's not even new. I mean, he is absolutely on fire, and this man, I'm sure, seeing that he's leading the championship will give him that more motivation to maybe be not so I wouldn't say reckless, but I mean just to maybe approach things a different way, because he knows that he's fighting for a championship slot. As you can see, the 4 front runners, Charlie, Harry, Jamie and Bradley. Bradley getting disqualified there for overrunning their grid slot there, but all of them on the first and second row of the grid. I mean, it's going to be an interesting race today to see what what happens.
It really is, and Bailey has been disqualified as well. But people, lights are going on. That is 5 red lights, and it's lights out. Bit of stutter. We're holding on. Grip and away we go for the Silverstone Grand Prix. Here we are. Harry gets a brilliant start up to that P1 position. Bradley also tried to get that P3 position, but Bradley drops down to... Oh, he's actually got P3 now, but he's gone wide, but he still recovers it. Jamie now battling away with Bradley, and with the AI of Sebastian Vettel. What a great start by Charlie, who gets back up to that P1 position now. Bailey up to that P18 position. What do you think about that start from everybody?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great start from the throwman Harry. What a great start into turn 1, into the lead. But then Charlie comes back with a great move around the outside. Bit of an aggressive move, may I say. But this is what this man needs to be. A little bit aggressive to maybe keep ahead of the rest. But the man is absolutely on fire right now. He is 1.1 seconds ahead. And talking about the rest of everyone's start, Jamie and Bradley, I'm pretty sure I saw Bradley go a bit wide off into the sort of towards the runoff area. No contact, and everyone holds positions on lap 1 at the moment, but the one man who hasn't held position and has gone up a position is Bailey.
Yes, straight away up to P18. What a great start from Bailey. He'll be hunting down the Alfa Romeo of Joe Guan Yu here. But Lance Stroll maybe going to be able to take on Mick Schumacher. Of course, those two battling will take them away from Bailey, hopefully, and be able to separate the time, which means Bailey will be able to focus on Joe Guan Yu and not the defending. But Charlie also sets the fast lap of 140.574. What a great lap by Charlie. We're on to lap 2, people, and we've got 25 laps left. No, 24 laps left to go. Had to do quick maths there, and obviously I'm not good at maths, so that didn't really work out, to be fair. But yes, what a great race we're hopefully in for here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Charlie has I wouldn't say a long head of race of him. I think he can easily go and win this race. But the long race ahead of him is the flying man of Harry. He will have a long race and he will be the one challenging the championship leader, Charlie, for this win here at his home Grand Prix, as it's everyone's Grand Prix today, like you said. But the one man who wants to go and win it is Harry, someone who was fighting for the championship last year and lost to his teammate Carl. If you haven't already seen season 2, go and check that out. But obviously, Harry hasn't had the best start to the season, may I say.
No, he hasn't. He's actually got very unlucky, especially in Miami, which led to Jamie getting a 5-place group penalty. But yes, it was a very unfortunate race for Harry in Miami, and he hasn't done too well, to be fair. But the best race he's had is actually Bahrain, I do believe. Correct me if I'm wrong there. You probably know more about this series than I do. But yeah, it's crazy, really. Charlie saying, oh, Harry saying the fast lap with 132.526. That is shown Harry is not giving up and he wants this win. You know, he really wants it, and he definitely wants to start a Silverstone streak of winning like he has his France and Jeddah streaks. Whether that'll carry on this season is another question. Well, you'll find out when we get to those tracks later on in the season, if you keep up with it, of course. But yes, what a great battle we have going on right now, especially Bradley and Jamie as well, going at it. Bradley with a DRS, maybe going for the overtake, or Jamie, he can't, unfortunately, loses out on it. Can Bradley get past Jamie?
I mean, I think that Bradley definitely has the pace. I mean, look at him. His qualifying pace may not be the best, but his race pace is a valuable asset to him as a driver. And as I say, your qualifying, yeah, it only determines your position, but you don't need to have great qualifying pace to maybe put it somewhere in the top 10. But, you know, the most valuable asset as a driver you need is definitely race pace to definitely change the course of the career and the season, should I say. But having good race pace is also a very good thing, because it allows you to beat drivers in certain tracks where you're good at. And also, like, even if you're not good at a certain track, having still good race pace, you know, can help you at when you think that it might not help you as much. I mean, having good race pace on every track is a key thing for every driver. It
really is. And can we just really view these battles going on right now? You have Bradley really gaining on Jamie somewhat with the DRS. Actually, no, Jamie, I believe, has spun, and due to that, Bradley takes his P3 position. Jamie now down to P7. He's got a lot more work to do now. But very unfortunate for Jamie to spin there.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I'm watching at the top, and now Harry, he's going to try and make a move. He tries to look down the inside of Charlie, but Charlie closes that door and says, you're not having this, and Harry just says, I'm going to sit behind you, thank you very much. And he's only 0.4 of a second behind him, and I'm wondering, is Harry using his ERS? He is not deploying it all just yet, but I'm sure on that straight on when he had DRS, he was, and he's going to follow right nicely through this section. And you know, I've driven this track and used cars, and I thought, you know, the place where you want to be quick through is this section, because if you can follow a car through nicely, a nice exit off of these curves right here, Maggots and Beckett's, you can have a nice straight slipstream.
And he's using the DRS as well, goes on the outside, inside, and he gets it up to P1 position.
But Charlie comes back fighting. They go wheel to wheel. They still go wheel to wheel. They make a little bit of contact going down into the final runoff area. Oh, he's going to try go around the outside. Now, Charlie closes off the door, and Harry has to back off just a little bit to concede the place there. And Harry had a little bit of a twitch there. But as you can see in the background, the McLaren of Bradley is now coming into play.
This, I'm sure, will be a great battle between the three of them. But if we just take a very, very quick jump down, of course, we'll jump back up in a minute. But I did see whilst that was all happening, Mick Schumacher gaining on Bailey. Unfortunately, managed to get past, but Bailey comes back and says, no, you don't. And comes back on Mick Schumacher, gets that position back. Bailey is looking strong in that P18 position. Goes on the curb, unfortunately, and Mick Schumacher might take advantage, but he hasn't. And Bailey stays in that P18 position.
Yeah, I mean, Bailey has now got a 3.1 gap to go and build, but obviously Mick Schumacher is going to have DRS on Bailey, and Mick Schumacher pulls down to the inside. Now almost a cut. Now he's full, but Bailey goes round the outside of Mick Schumacher. They make some contact, and Bailey now has to go run off wide.
No!
He has a 3-second time penalty.
What is going on? Very unfortunate for Bailey. I do not know what has happened here. Oh no, I've just seen what's happened. He has got very unlucky. His controller disconnected.
Oh no, that's the worst possible time for that to happen. But going back to the top, Harry still looking to make a move on the championship leader. Sorry, lost of words there for a second. But Harry still looking to gain. I mean, this is very unlucky for Bailey for a time of need to be able to maybe have.
I'm very sorry to interrupt, but Jamie's just got the overtake on Lewis Hamilton. Went on the, I believe the outside of Lewis and got the overtake. Nice overtake by Jamie right there. Back to you.
Yeah, talking about that Bailey situation, not ideal for Bailey, looking for a time of need of good performance this weekend. Maybe a bit of a confidence boost for him, but I'm pretty sure I see him out. He's gone off wide and he now retires from the race. Obviously not the weekend he wanted, and he will want to forget this one as well.
Should we see if we can get him in for commentary?
Yeah, I mean, we can do.
I don't know if he'll want to, but we can definitely. Sure, you go. You keep talking, yeah.
Yeah, so we're now Harry once again. He's trying to make a move on the championship leader. He's again going to follow Charlie through this section very, very nicely. And like I said before, if you can follow this car nice and through and keep it nice and neat and keep it quite close to the curbs, hugging the curbs on the inside and then dropping to your outside, you will have a brilliant exit like this man has. He sends a dummy on Charlie. He's going to try and make the move round the outside. And now Harry is up into the lead of the British Grand Prix. And this is a good move from the person who was leading, well, not leading, but challenging from wins. And now Harry's back up once again.
And so is Jamie in P4. He has made what a recovery. Jamie is up and ready for that fight. We have the top four going at it. What a race. But we have the most unluckiest person this whole race. I don't know what to say to it. I'm really sorry about what's happened with your controller and everything. How you doing, Bailey?
I don't have words, honestly. I knew something was going to happen. My controller's been fucked for ages. Like, I hate to make excuses, but that's simply what it is. My controller's it's like it disconnects every 3 seconds, but then starts working again. And then as I'm going round a corner, it decides to lock up, and then I go into a wall, and I'm like, yeah.
It was seriously unlucky, but may I just say, like, I think Peter can ultimately back me up here. Your battle with, I know it was only Mick Schumacher and Lance Stroll, but your battle was awesome. We were watching parts of it, and you were just battling back every second, not letting them pass you whatsoever. It was great.
I was loving it. Like, it had a little bit of spice, the controller being fucked, but it added the spice, and I was cutting corners on accident, and like then I got the 3-second penalty, so I had to make it time, and then like onto corners it would just fuck up, and then they'd catch up. But it was definitely an interesting battle between the three of us that I thoroughly enjoyed.
Nice one. But would you like to help us commentate this race? Can you still see it on your PlayStation? You still got it up?
I'm on.
So talking about the race now, we see Charlie now catching up Harry and is now desperate to probably get that victory like he probably dreams of, like he normally has these past 2 races. Quite a person who contends the podium quite regularly now this season, now has DRS on Harry, and unfortunately does not have that straight line speed like Harry did when he had DRS on Charlie. So maybe Charlie's trying to preserve his tyres a bit more and play the smart game and be like, well, if you want to push, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop for a little bit and just let you push, and I'll save my tyre.
Exactly, yeah. Bailey, by way, if you see anyone potentially going for an overtake and me and Peter don't notice it, you are free to interrupt. You're free to say anything you want. Just go ahead with it. You know, you're with us. But what's your opinions on the race so far? Obviously, you know, you were down. You know, unfortunately, you were down there. But you know, it must not have been that bad, really.
No, I mean, it wasn't. I mean, I was close to quite a few people. I was close to Zhou Guan Yu for a little bit. He pulled away, and then, of course, the battle with me, Stroll, and Schumacher. It was interesting, and from the last lap and a bit, I've watched the top end between Harry and Charlie especially. It's been very interesting. It's going to turn out to be a very good race.
Yeah, definitely. And just a little update for you. Peter already knows, but fortunately we do not have the 8th driver joining us this season. Unfortunately, but that's all right. We've got 7 drivers, 2 reserve drivers, you know, and potentially come Abu Dhabi, or maybe a race before, but hopefully Abu Dhabi, we'll have 9 drivers on track for that race, and it's going to be awesome.
Can't wait for it.
But of course, we have how many races? I mean, we've got like 18 or 17 to get through before then, so.
Well, I mean, we're on our 5th race now, so we've got like. We are down to 18 races left. Had to do some quick maths there real quick, but we're down to like 18, like you said. Heading back into the race, Harry has now pulled basically a second gap over Charlie. So what do you think's happening now? Do you reckon that Charlie's trying to play the tactical game, save the tyre wear, let Harry push, or what's your thoughts?
It's a difficult one because I don't really know how Charlie races. Whether he's preserver or whether he goes for it. I think, you know, if he's smart, he would be thinking, right, obviously Harry's got the overtake, so I'm going to take it careful. Out-time Harry, out-strategy him, if you get what I mean. It's not great saying, but you know, try and work against Harry's weaknesses, maybe. But not that he has many, but yeah, that's the thing. But Harry also, we know from previous experiences, and I think Bailey, you would know from you know, watching the season 2 especially. Belgium, he was on his own and he spun out and he DNF'd. Harry is very unlucky, and he DNFs when he's ahead, and so will that happen today, or will Harry be able to keep it under control potentially and take this race?
I mean, I don't know. We saw in qualifying Harry make a few mistakes through, I think it's Luffield, I think it is. If I'm not, then I've got the name of the corner horribly wrong. But I'm pretty sure it was through Luffield that he spun in qualifying 2 times, actually. So you clearly shown like the pressure was slightly getting to him. I don't think that he's been in this sort of position before, fighting for wins and getting poles, I'm pretty sure, from last season. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so obviously Harry is no stranger to contending for podiums, wins, and poles as well. So I think it's quite good that Harry's now starting to like pick up the pace this season and maybe get through his run of bad luck. Bahrain managed to come up with a podium despite having that 5-second time penalty. And then I don't even know what happened in Spain. I don't think he was even there for Spain. And then don't know what happened in Miami and then Imola. But Miami he didn't have a particular race, good race, because he had his incident with Jamie. And then I'm not entirely sure what happened in Imola for him either. I don't know if he had a good race. I can't remember.
I actually can't remember either, to be honest.
I mean,
That's very bad of us as commentators. But I just want to ask both your opinions right now. I don't mind who goes first. It's just I asked Rick Vick this question last season in Belgium and Netherlands when he commentated with me. Currently, I will pull up the table again. Yeah, I think that's fair. You get to see the table for this question. You see the table right now. Who is winning? Who is taking the Drivers' Championship this season? Early on, what's your early predictions?
well, my thoughts is that, we've had some amazing performances from several different drivers. We've seen Bradley, despite not being here, for the last 2 races, he's shown that he's been able to run at the front. He shows that he can possibly be a winner during the season if depending on how what kind of conditions, what's going on through the session, trying to maybe have the perfect session for him, but he's running in P3 right now, so that's pretty good for him. He hasn't had a podium yet this season, so probably the first podium of the season for him. But you're talking about the rest. We've had Carl. He showed that he was able to continue his form from last season into this season with the new cars. He put on an amazing performance with trying to put himself on provisional pole. Obviously, it was quite close between Charlie, Harry, and Carl, which was a great opening for qualifying, and then again for the race. But then Carl got very unlucky. I don't know what actually happened to this very day. Still don't know what happened. But got very unlucky and couldn't even fight for the win. And then we saw Charlie take his first ever win in this league in Bahrain, which was a great performance. Made the right strategy calls despite not being there. Not having the greatest race. I think he had some issues in the first opening laps, and then obviously, he came back with the win with the great strategy call. And it's all about making the right choice as well. Decision making is also a key important to a driver as well. And then we saw George introduce himself in Spain. Obviously getting taken out like Nico and Hamilton did back in 2016, and then comes back to win the race. And then I think that took him to the top of the championship by 1 point. And then in Miami had a very disappointing, I would say disappointing. I mean, it was still a good performance because he came out on the podium still.
Joe Guan Yu is out of this race, and that is massive because, of course, George's chances in the Constructors has just been weakened ever so much once again. Very unlucky for Joe, might I say. But carry on, Peter, if you're...
Yeah,
wait, what? Wait, so I'm really sorry to interrupt again. Everyone's gone into a pit, so Jamie's up to P1.
And Jamie now up into P1. I mean, he's probably made I don't know what tire he's done. Maybe he's trying to go for an overcut, but yeah, he's still in those medium compounds. Maybe he feels that his compound is not ready. He's not ready to pit yet. Maybe he feels like the tires are not. He doesn't need to pit Aaron, is what I'm trying to say. But, maybe if he can pull a nice gap out there, everyone has to warm their hards up. So it makes it even harder. It takes a couple laps to warm up those hards. So will Jamie be putting off a masterclass here with a strategy call to maybe overcut the rest of the field and maybe come out ahead of Harry, Charlie and Bradley? And obviously you saw that the 3 leaders go into the pits at the same time, so obviously one had to react to the other. So obviously Charlie wanted to react to Harry, and
speaking of Charlie and Harry, Charlie's just got the overtake on Harry, in fact, and Harry spun.
Oh no! And Harry has been hit, and now he's lost so many positions. I don't know what happened. I just flicked onto him, and that is not what he wants.
I believe it was wheel contact with Charlie as Charlie was trying to pass, or Harry was trying to bounce back. I'm not too sure. But what's your opinion on Miss Bailey?
I mean, it's all kicking off really with the leaders. Well, the leaders before, it was a very clean overtake from Charlie. I saw maybe a little bit too much contact, but he capitalised. He took the inside and he got the overtake cleanly. And it must have been a bit of wheel contact that spun Harry out. But he'll be looking to try and build some of that places up. Of course, 5 people now in the pits, and he's gone up to P4 already. So he's gained a lot of that time already, but he'll just be wanting to gain some time on the top 3.
Yeah.
Go on, Peter.
I was saying yeah to Bailey's comment there for a second.
But Bailey, back to the question before about what's your early predictions on the whole championship?
It's very early in the season, I have to say, but for me, Charlie is standing out every race. I mean, I've had it hand in hand in Spain. Of course, he DNF'd, but we had a very big battle near the back of the race because he spun out a couple of times. But I know how hard he is to defend, and in experience, he's the hardest I've had to defend against. And he's already in P1 again already, and he's shown he's got the pace in qualifying. So them extra points from being in pole, I reckon, could be crucial towards the end of the season, and that's what I reckon will pip it for him.
Yeah, that's true. I'm really sorry, but I'd just like to bring something up. Do you remember, Peter? You might remember as well, Bailey. The reason Harry wanted a place penalty against Jamie was because Harry didn't want to really race near Jamie anymore. I guess what's happening right now.
They're back at it again. I mean, I hope I don't see drama between these two. I mean, as Harry goes with a fastest lap of this race with a 1:32.3, clearly shows he's pushing now, and he's after that incident, he's now using his anger as motivation to push on and to gut his way through. Going back to your question before the drama went out, like Bailey said, it's too early to determine, but my opinion is that if it comes to it, I reckon it's going to go down between George or Charlie, and that's my either one of those two people are going to end up winning it. I don't know who, and I don't know when they'll go and win it, but my prediction is that George is a brilliant racer, and he can put on the pace every single race, and you know, I think that he's been a big talking point of the season, but you know, because he's new and came to obviously win his first race of the season and his career in DFL. But yeah, I mean, no offense to Harry, Carl, but you know, Carl is taking too many races out and obviously can't attend some of these sessions, which is understandable due to reasons. You know, I don't think Carl's going to be here to defend his title, and I think it's really going to be between only one or two people here, and that's either the man leading this race right now or the man who's not here currently, George.
I mean, can I just bring something out? Looking at the table right now, you speak of George. George has been in 3 races. Preston has only been in 2, and somehow Preston is on the exact same amount of points as George. For that luck, do you really think Preston couldn't be in this?
Well, I mean, if he can attend more than, I'd say, 75% of these races, I mean, if he can attend basically 75% of these races, and depending on where George and Charlie score, you know, Preston could be a second-time world champion. I mean, if he really wanted to. But, I mean, if Preston isn't here, like, say he misses 3-4 races, then we need to consider not, like, maybe need to think, like, he might not contend for the championships because he's taken too many races out of, to not maybe contend for this championship as a whole. I mean, maybe we get some mid-season drama and some reason Carl comes back with 5 race victories in a row, or say, you know, some masterclass from Harry, or somehow Jamie introduces himself to the championship. You know, it's I wouldn't say it's quite interesting how things can pan out. I mean, I can't say for sure because I'm not. I don't teleport into the future and think, right, I know who's winning it. But you know, I still think that, you know, Preston is a very good driver, and he has been a season 1 champion for a reason. You know, only been here for 2 races out of the 4 of them so far, and he's already on the same amount of points to the second person who's contending, which is like 8 points now. I think it's 8 or 9 points now behind the champion, the championship leader. So yeah, you know, quite a big talking point as well to this career.
Bailey, your opinion on Preston in the championship? Does he have a chance?
I mean, it depends how many races he can attend. If he can attend the right amount of races, sure, you've definitely got to throw his name into the conversation. I mean, he proved it in Season 1 that he has the capability to drive these cars. And although they're slightly different this year, he's still proven in the 2 races that he's been in that he can drive. And on track, you see his name popping up every so often that he's got the fastest lap, and you see him at the top. And it blows my mind how good he can control these cars. So definitely, if he can attend enough races, you've got to throw his name in the conversation.
Yeah, 100%. And we can't forget, Preston is on controller. So for someone on controller to be that dominant is very, very rare. But just very quickly, Bailey. Obviously, you know, I don't mean to sound mean here, but you haven't had the best of luck in these previous races, let's just say. I think your best race, personally, would be Spain, because you were in the points for that race. It was just a very unlucky pit entry for you, but, obviously it was a very narrow pit entry, so you got very unlucky there. Is your goal, still points after what happened, your battle today? Has that reignited the points goal, or is your goal still to try and just survive, or what's your goal now?
I mean, I said it on day 1, and I'll say it until the last day. No matter how every race goes, points is the aim, and I know with time that will come, but it's just trying to get that momentum and trying to get that fuel and that fire in me to push for it. And I don't know if I have the capability in this league at the moment, but with time and with improvement and with practice, I know I'll only improve.
And speaking of improvement, I think Peter said it earlier. Watching you battle away from Mick and Lance, there was ultimate improvement there, wasn't there, Peter?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely saw that you was a lot more confident. I saw it in your qualifying that you seemed a lot more smoother with the car. You wasn't making mistakes, and I saw that maybe the practice that you've been doing has really helped towards maybe getting towards this stage now. I mean, obviously, you didn't have the race that you wanted today, obviously, which is not ideal for you. But, all you can do is learn from it. And I'm pretty sure that's what you're doing at the moment. You're using this race, using each race as a learning curve for you. And I'm sure at some point in the season, you will achieve points. I have no doubt in that. I mean, I reckon that everyone has luck in that during the season. And I think that, you haven't arrived in your good luck yet. You only arrived at bad luck. So it's not what you want. But eventually you have to get through this, the grey patches to get to the good patches, right?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, as you said, I felt a lot more confident. I definitely did feel a lot more confident. I said a couple of races ago in Bahrain or Spain that defending was my strong point, and I think I definitely proved it today with 2 talented drivers behind me, and I was able to keep them behind me for as long as possible. Yes, sometimes they did pit me, but then I was able to get on the inside and take it back and then go wide with the defence again. So, yeah, I think definitely my confidence is improving, and I reckon my capability is slowly improving. It's just trying to get momentum now and trying to push forward.
And I can't remember what I was actually going to say now. Oh, God. That is bad luck, if anything. But just switching on to something until I remember what I was going to say. Right now, we look at AR. We look at who isn't here. Carl and George, unfortunately, can't make it this race. But what you have currently is Valtteri Bottas in P12. So unfortunately, George right now will not be getting any points. But Lewis Hamilton has just gone up to 6th place now. That means more points for Carl. Has Fernando Alonso just DNFs. Very unlucky for Charlie for constructors. I will say that will affect Alpine very much. But will Lewis Hamilton continually scoring points bring Carl into this? Or will he, as you say, not be able to be in this as much because he's not attending most races?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, may I say that car looks like it should be a safety car. Going back to your question, though, the fact that Carl has missed, I think he's now missed 3.
Every race since Bahrain.
Yeah, so he's missed from Spain all the way up until now. That's 4 races. He's attended 1 out of the 5 sessions that we've hosted so far this season. But, you know, if Carl continues to miss a session, he needs to maybe consider the championship fight might not be allowed. He might come back and surprise us and somehow win every single race until the very end. But obviously, George, he's not always going to miss every session, and he's only missed today's session. And, you know, we've seen what he can do as well. So maybe Carl will have that person of George and Preston as well. Let's not forget about Preston, may I say. I mean, Preston, imagine Carl, Preston, Carl, Preston, Charlie and George all fighting for one slot, PT1. I mean, that could be very, very fun to watch as a race, as we saw in Miami, freeway fight of Charlie, George and Preston all fighting away for that P1 slot. I mean, that's been the best race so far, in my opinion. You know, I don't know what your best race is. Not your best race is, like what you've seen is, should I say?
I'd let Bailey actually answer that question first, so I need to think about it really.
Yeah, no. For me, Spain, it was very interesting. I remember I joined commentary late on in Bahrain, and I was able to see the battle at the front between the three drivers, and it's so fascinating to watch these drivers.
But Bailey, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but Jamie is closing in on Bradley. He is really not giving up his position. He could be going for a P2 right here.
Yeah, Jamie has been in P3 for most of his podiums. The only time he hasn't been in P2 is when P3 is when he was contending in Spain. But as
he's going on me outside.
Brilliant,
Bradley. Yeah, Bradley. Bradley just cuts him off there real quick.
Bailey, you go if you want.
No, I'll just say that Bradley's been able to control the situation very well, and I'm sure he'll look to gain some more time on Jamie.
But I don't think that's happening. I think Jamie might be going for another attack here. Might be going on the inside of Bradley here, and he does, but he can't complete the move.
Yeah, Jamie really pushing his car now, and it's brought Harry back into it. So three-way fight for P2. I mean, can Jamie come here with DRS now and overtake Bradley? I think that just in the corner before this, he's lost a lot of time because he was quite close and had to brake a lot later to react to that. So lost a little bit of time now to Bradley, but really was pushing his car to the limits and was pushing Bradley as well. He was generally pushing Bradley's car through each corner because of how fast Jamie was.
And Harry is definitely closing on Jamie here. Bailey, what? Again, I keep asking for your opinion, but what is your opinion on this P2 battle?
I mean, I've been on this track with these drivers before, and it's so fascinating. As I've said many a times, it's so fascinating to watch them drive, and this battle just shows the quality of this league. And
and he's done
Jamie above Bradley into P2. Harry right on their tail now, but as I was saying, it's a brilliant battle between the three, and it shows the quality of drivers in this league.
It really does, and you've got to think about it. This is what I was actually going to say. It's come back to me now. Jamie, at the start of Season 1, I'm just going to be blunt. He was not good at this game. He was down at the bottom. He couldn't compete really at all. He was playing on 50 difficulty. It just wasn't good. Come Abu Dhabi Season 1, he was gaining 30 seconds in P1 on the championship leaders Preston and Callum. What a great turnaround that was. And then come Season 2, again, I don't even know what happened, but the transition between those two, Jamie was at the bottom again, DNFing, but now look, come Season 3, he's back up in P2. It really does show the development of Jamie between these 3 seasons, and I definitely think that development will come your way as well, Bailey, in time. Don't you worry about that.
I mean, I'm hoping so. Go on.
No, you go. I
was just going to say I hope so, because the quality that Jamie has and the control of his car is just impeccable. And I'm sure if I can put the amount of time and practice into the game that he does, then I'm hoping I can make this turnaround that he has.
But Harry and Bradley going at it now. Will Bradley lose another position? Harry maybe going on the outside, goes on the cross and takes it. Bradley.
Right in the tail, though.
Well, Bradley comes back through with an aggressive dive bomb down on Harry, but Harry comes back at him. They still go wheel to wheel, and now Bradley comes out in front through this section, but don't just exclude him just yet. They still are fighting right now, but Harry, will he pull out to the outside? He's now having to concede the place to Bradley after an aggressive dive bomb, but then Harry comes back at him. What a move, and what a scrap between these two.
And Jamie has taken fastest lap, which means if it stays that way for the next 2 laps, he will take the extra point here in this race. This is definitely an amazing battle for P2. I definitely think this is one of the best races we've seen this season alongside Miami.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely up there as one of the greatest races in terms of contending on the podium. We saw at the start Harry, Jamie and Charlie all fighting for P2 and P3, 4 and 5, as George and Preston were fighting for P2 and 1. But you know, it's great to see that we can have some fun. Well, there can have some fun in this league and watch the excitement of them all scrapping away for one position.
No!
They've crashed.
What out?
I don't know
Harry
whose fault that was.
Yeah, that was definitely Harry's fault. Definitely stuck his car up down the inside when there was no room at all to even make a move. I would have to say that is Harry in the red there. Definitely at fault for that accident. Harry making a desperate move and trying to make a more than aggressive dive bomb on Bradley. I'm sure Bradley will not be pleased with that, and I'm sure there might be some rants in the chat, but Harry will feel like he was given no room. But I don't think that for a second, I just saw Harry go off for a second. I thought, what was going on there for a second? But heading back to the rant, I reckon that Harry will feel that he wasn't given room. But Harry should know that he was in the fault for trying to make that move, and when he wasn't even in the position to make no move on Bradley. So I'd have to say that was all on Harry for that collision. So now he is now 6.8 seconds behind Bradley now on that podium. The man who was challenging for P1 at the start of the race is now the way down in P4. Quite a big change, and he will not be happy with this race.
Just going on to something different really quickly. Bailey, your Constructors Championship. I mean, where are you currently in the Constructors? I think you are 9th in the Constructors. Yuki currently 7th place, maybe going into 6th place. I bet you're really happy with your partner's performance.
I mean, all season I've been looking at him. He's been incredible with the car. And despite us both having a poor race in Bahrain, both disqualifying, I believe, he has pulled it back and he has been able to battle in the points every other race. He wasn't in Miami, I think. He was about 11th or 12th, but he's definitely up there. But again, he's pushing on Lewis Hamilton into P6, looking to get as many points as he can as possible. And I'm so pleased with how he's done so far in this season, and I hope throughout the season I can be up there with him.
Yes, we really hope so. The day for AlphaTauri come home with double points will be the greatest day in DFL Championship, I'll tell you that now.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you there, Dan, but this might be some late last drama. Jamie is really pushing now. It went from a 5-second gap all the way down to 1.9. This could be a late last drama if Charlie seems to crack under pressure and make some mistakes. If he does, then it might invite Jamie to come through.
I don't think it will. I mean, Charlie is preserving his ERS very well, using when needed to keep this gap alive. Jamie, unfortunately, is at the ultimate bare bones of his ERS, and this is exactly where he needs it the most. But he's just using it and not leaving a smidge left for when he really needs it in those emergencies. And we are coming up to the final corners now of this Silverstone track, and it does look to be Charlie taking home this Silverstone Grand Prix. We're coming up to the last corner now, and here is your winner of the Silverstone Grand Prix, taking home, what is it, his 3rd win of the championship. Charlie here, well done, absolutely deserved, I would say, today. Stayed in P1 basically the whole race, except from a moment where he was P2, but stayed up there. Jamie comes home for that P2, Bradley takes out P3, and Harry takes out P4. What a great race here today, and especially for Jamie, who's got his best position in Season 3 right now. Driver day goes to George Russell. I don't even know why, but we be back with you with podium in a second. This is the podium for the Silverstone Grand Prix. You see Charlie walking up for the third time this season. You've got Jamie on his left in P2. You've got Bradley on his right in P3. I believe a first, second place for Jamie, a third place for Bradley. So well done to the three of them. And what a great race we had. And we'll be running down the leaderboard in a second. Don't you worry, people. We'll be right back with it in a second, as soon as this podium is done, and it's basically done now. So see you in a second, people.
Okay, so we have Charlie, of course, in P1, followed by Jamie and Bradley to complete the podium. Harry of Ferrari in P4. Of course, disappointing end to the race for him, but still a very solid result. Vettel, Hamilton, Shinoda, Russell, Perez and Bottas complete the points. Danny Ricciardo and Alexander Albon just below. K-Mag, Sainz, Latifi, Stroll and Schumacher, the last of the drivers to finish the race, and then Fernando Alonso, Zhou Guanyu and myself getting a DNF.